I think I'm about to get fired. Because they just put a random meeting on my calendar with HR. Girl, I know what that means.
If you're black and you have an office job, okay, especially if you work in tech and you feel like something is going on at your job, something is going on at your job.
So I just came across a content creator talking about how and why Black women are being laid off from their corporate jobs in such large numbers. And she says it's because they never wanted us there. And that is so true.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. I don't know if a lot of you have heard about Black Americans being targeted for termination, yeah? So in today's episode, we are going to be hearing from a demographic of Black Americans who are going to be sharing with us their experiences. And also, some of them are coming out with a report that came out suggesting that Black women were losing their jobs more than their counterparts.
Right, and in today's episode, we are asking, not rather asking, but saying, as we've always said, something that happens in America more often than not usually targets the Black community before it is widespread. And right now, I feel like it is the Black community, but also white women are gonna be affected because as it is, the system usually tends to favor more white men than other group of people.
Right, and guys, let's remember about Project 2030 and Project 2025, right?
And guys, I think I'll emphasize, if you haven't heard about Project 2030, please go and look it up even on TikTok or wherever you get your information from.
Right, we suggest that but that's only our opinion, right? There's something that is happening, something great is happening, and there's gonna be a shift in the world, and there's also a world order that is being formed, you know.
Whether it will succeed or not it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, but definitely there's a shift that is coming in the world. And as I normally say, America is the masterpiece of what happens to the rest of the world, yeah? But for now, let's watch this and then we come back and talk about it. Also, let us know your opinion on the comment section and consider subscribing if it's your first time on this channel, right? Let's watch and then we come back.
So I just came across a content creator talking about how and why Black women are being laid off from their corporate jobs in such large numbers. And she says it's because they never wanted us there. And that is so true. You guys, I used to be an accountant. I've worked in the corporate space and I've worked in the government space. They don't want us there. You know, when I used to get hired by jobs and shortly after I started, it would just be weird vibes. I used to say, you know, I think they only hired me because they have a secret bet going around of how long I will stay or how long I'll put up with the bullshit. And I'm a person that has high self-esteem and a very low tolerance for bullshit. You are not going to play on my head, stop. You're not going to play in my face, play on my intelligence, treat me a certain kind of way. You're not going to throw rocks and hide your hands. I mean, I don't have any patience for spiritual or psychological warfare. So you can imagine I did not stay in corporate very long. And when I say not long, I mean like less than 3 years. I did not stay in corporate long because it is psychologically and mentally draining. This is why so many of us have an issue with autoimmune disorders or again, trauma and health problems, and our nervous system is so destroyed, and it's because we are in spaces where we are not wanted, and the people are letting you know that silently. And it's not silently, but they're doing, again, little pesky things, or they're leaving you out of meetings, or they're quiet, firing you, or again, they're putting you in uncomfortable situations. Or my favorite one, they have a mess going on and they only hired you to clean up the mess. Like, we deserve better. Imagine going to school and getting into debt only to be at a company as the cleanup girl, or only at the company to be the scapegoat, or only at the company as the diversity hire. Like, we deserve better. We need to stop begging for acceptance and begging to be in rooms that we're not wanted. Corporate America is not made for Black people.
I think I'm about to get fired. Because they just put a random meeting on my calendar with HR. Girl, I know what that means.
If you're black and you have an office job, okay, especially if you work in tech and you feel like something is going on at your job, something is going on at your job, don't let anybody gaslight you. We are being targeted for termination. I had a situation in my job about 2 months ago, okay? Mind you, I've been working for this company going 3 years, okay? 3 years in December. I've never had a bad performance review, okay? So I was going into one of these, monthly performance review. I was really not expecting anything out of it. Out of a sudden, they started talking about my performance review. They're like, oh, you had terrible performance review this month. Your quality is very low, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like watching. I'm like, this does not feel right. Mind you, this is the first time ever I'm having a situation where my quality is low. So they kept on talking about how bad my quality was for that month for almost 20 minutes. Then, out of nowhere, are we going to have to put you on an improvement plan? I'm like, I beg your pardon? They're like, yeah, we have to put you on an improvement plan for 3 weeks, and we're going to see how it's going to go from there. I'm like, this cannot be serious, especially because my performance review, my quality from last month was 100%, and my quality for the month before that was 98%. And I'm just sitting there listening to this guy tell me that my quality dropped at 86%. And I'm like, my quality dropped at 86%. Just like that. And just like that, you want to put me on improvement plan. And they said, well, we're going to have to monitor everything you do for the next 3 weeks. We have to check your quality. We will have to follow up with you. We're going to see if there's anything that comes up. We will send you feedback and all that stuff. I was like, okay. So on the first week, I talked to my team lead and I was like, can I get all the feedback that was used to actually, quantify my quality? And he was like, yeah, of course. He sent it to me and I was reviewing all the feedbacks that they sent me. And I'm like, this is like nitpicking stuff. There's literally nothing major in these feedbacks. The answer was process is process. I was like, okay, process is process. That's the answer. Process is process. Okay, cool. Now here's where it gets funny. First week goes by 100%. No problem. Second week goes by 100%. And third week goes by 100% still. And I'm like, can we just like close this thing already? And my team lead was like, yeah, I'm going to talk to the managers. My team lead gets back to me. Is like, okay, they said, although your quality is perfect, they have noticed a drop in your productivity. And I'm like, y'all can't be serious right now. Now my productivity is a problem. I'm like, okay, what if I cannot match productivity with quality? What's going to happen if you are not able to satisfy? They might have to let you go. I was like, So eventually these 2 weeks passed and both my quality and productivity was at a high level. So they really had nothing to use against me at that point, right? Anyways, they did not get back to me for another, I think, 2 weeks. Like, I don't know what was going on there. They did not get back to me. They didn't say anything. And just like one of these days, they randomly like got me in a room and they were like, so sorry that we didn't get back to you sooner, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, well, thank you for going through this. We're just going to go ahead and close it. And the whole time they were talking, I was just like, yeah, y'all tried it. Y'all tried it. Y'all thought you were going to get me out like that.
Y'all, I think I'm about to get fired. Because they just put a random meeting on my calendar with HR. Girl, I know what that means. Just get it over with. Like, we just text it to me.
Is experiencing a moment of significant change. So this has required us to manage the business more tightly, focusing on billability. So we in the other sectors have been working through efforts to increase staff billability to reach FY26 billability targets. And so we're continuously evaluating the org location or the expertise or the years of experience, right? And so the decision is not made lightly by the leaders in the health account, but at this time, we're moving forward with your formal severance notification, Betel. And so now I am going to have Adam discuss the next steps, right? And for
would be on August 18th, which would be 10 business days from today. You are eligible for a severance payment, which is calculated based on your role and your tenure with the organization, and is because of this action, your access will be shut off tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time.
I just came to the realization that I'm one of the 300,000. So when I came maybe 2 months ago and told y'all that I was unemployed, I'm switching to entrepreneurship, like I was so focused on what was happening to me, I didn't realize that this was literally happening to 300,000 women, Black women, across the country. We've been fooled. We've been bamboozled. We were told, get the degrees, get the education, get the experience, be professional, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, and you'll never be without. You'll be able to climb the ladder. They'll never be able to fire you. And then boom, 300,000 Black women lost their jobs in the last 90 days. It doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me. I know it's not going to sit right with anyone who listens to this, who has any empathy or understanding of what it means to be a Black woman in America. And now we are being targeted.
I've been sitting with this article for the past couple of days, and it finally clicked. Let's read and comprehend together. Black Enterprise. April jobs report. Black women lost 106,000 extra jobs, most among all workers. I think this sister is comprehending the impact of this. But again, let's take it a step further. Reading and comprehension, one builds on the other, right? 1 month, April 2025. Not only did Black women lose jobs on par with the other demographics in the workforce, an additional 106,000 Black women lost jobs, most among all workers. So not just 106,000 Black women lost jobs, no, over and above all the other demographics. So I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm Angela. I experienced a corporate layoff in June of 2023 after a 30-year career in human resources and talent acquisition. I have since moved into the beauty and wellness space as a licensed esthetician and skincare entrepreneur. If you're not a Black woman, you're welcome to stay and listen to the rest of the commentary if you're still here. But if you are in fact a Black woman, I really want to leave you with two things. Number one, this is hard. And it's scary. Please do not underestimate the mental, emotional, and physical toll of a layoff. Being laid off as a Black woman can be a very unique experience. If you know, you know. If it's not you, ask a friend who's been laid off why it is so difficult to recover from. If you, in fact, have been laid off, let people know how you feel, because a closed mouth won't get fed.
I just got let go from my job as part of organizational shifts and return to office. As you guys know, I've been a remote employee for the past 5 years, really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm crying not because I'm sad that I got let go. Obviously, the instability of losing an income always sucks. What sucks most about being let go is somebody taking control out of your hands. I always preach internally and here at home that we have got to be the people in the driving seat of our futures, of our careers. And when a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks, because all of a sudden the plan that you had, the roadmap that you were on board for, is gone. Now you've got to start over. And this is why you've always got to have a plan B, a plan C, and most importantly, an emergency fund. I am incredibly upset and frustrated. There have been several shifts in the company in this last couple of months that I just knew the writing was on the wall, and I knew my time was coming.
300,000 Black women have left the workforce, according to MSNBC, and it is not a coincidence. We have seen the cuts that the federal government has been making, specifically across the Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, and we have seen the cuts happen. We've also seen the cuts happen over the last few months, specifically at the federal level and also across the private sector due to DEI. And according to this article, the participation rate has now dropped below Latinas for the first time in over a year. One thing that stuck out to me that I thought was very interesting, which kind of led to the conclusion of this article, is that 51% of households with black children are led by black women who are the breadwinners. And the article specifically cites that black women tend to be the economic foothold of the black community.
So let me give y'all a little bit of insight, because I seen this report and I also seen a news report that came along with it. And we had a conversation about it on the Millionaire Morning Show, right? And so really what this means is that there are a lot of single mother households. Let me say that again. There are a lot of women that broke up their families or that never had a family in the first place, and they decided that they wanted to partner with the federal government in multiple different ways, one including women that, basically lean on child support, social services, welfare, food stamps, and EBT. That comes along with also when they do get educated or when they do get a job, regardless of what field of study, even if it's not a field of study that is what society needs, they were basically somewhat guaranteed a job or a government contract or to work for a government contractor when it came to the federal government. And so basically the government has been subsidizing black women. And this is just a fact. This is not my opinion. This is not anything to do with relationships. This is just more or less the facts. The government has been subsidizing black women when it comes to their household, which gave them more power to be able to break up their families. And so now when we realize that diversity, equity, and inclusion was really government subsidies to ensure that black women had an opportunity to be able to work, instead of them going into fields, which obviously we know that you had to incentivize them to go into like STEM fields, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't have those type of programs. If they naturally selected them, then they would be more visible and they would be more viable to what it is that we needed in society. But instead, now what you see is when the rubber meets the road and we go into a merit-based society and a merit-based capitalistic system, they no longer have any value because there wasn't a lot to do in the first place, and their jobs was basically all tied to the federal government.
Number 2, I want you to do what you've always done, but I want you to do a little bit differently this time. Because the beautiful Aaliyah told us to dust yourself off and try again. But this time, I want you to do it for you. I want you to release the expectations that others have of you. I want you to do something for you. And it may just be 1 day a week or 2 days a week, whatever you can handle at this time, and allow it to grow. Do not underestimate what we call pink collar jobs. Beauty is $1 billion industry. There's enough for you to get a slice. Go back to school. Get your cosmetology, aesthetics, barber, nail license. Do something. Go get that certificate in floral design, nutrition, fitness, yoga certification, Pilates certifications. Get up and do something. I'm seeing too many TikToks of us just paralyzed by fear and doubt and uncertainty when it's truly a lack of security. Jobs are not going to keep us secure any longer.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the episode we just played here. I feel like, okay, there's some people who are talking about how right now it cuts across all races and it's not racism, that everybody right now does not have the job security and everybody is losing their job. And some are even asking, if you don't want you to be fired, who do you want it to be? But the question is, it's not about who everybody losing their job. It becomes an issue when there's just one group of people who look like they're being targeted, who are losing their jobs more than the others.
The other demography, because if all races were losing their jobs at a fair demography, then it wouldn't be a reason to be concerned, right? But right now, there's even one lady here who was saying that the level at which black people are losing their jobs has even dropped, and it's even lower than the, what is it called?
The number of
than the number of Latinos.
Okay.
Yeah, so like right now, black Americans are the most affected when it comes to job losses, right? And right now, some may even ask, so what then becomes the solution? And a lady here was also suggesting that if you can, employment is the only way to go, because not employment, but starting your own business, because self-employment, because right now employment has no security at all. You know, right? And guys, also another thing, there's a guy there who was talking about how, he was saying, if you're working in corporate and you feel like something is coming, it's because something is coming. And he gave us his experience, and he talked about how in 3 years, almost 3 years, he had no problem with his company. He worked with no complaints. So how does it come from there to, he gave us also his experience when they were trying to when they were trying to fire him, right? And he was given 100% performance, and then in the next meeting it drops from 100 to 80 to not to 80 directly. They went to 90, I think 95, and then from 95 they went to 86, you know. And you're asking yourself, in just a period of 3 weeks, how does it come from 100%, which has been your performance for the last 3 years, and in just 3 weeks it comes from 100% to 86%, right? And personally I feel like 86% is still above average. It's not 50%, you know. He was still giving his all, you know. But I would say he had a good way of dealing with these people, and therefore they couldn't fire him. They just couldn't find a way to like legally fire him, you know. And if that does not show you a perfect example of companies targeting Black Americans, you know what does. And here the issue is not even your qualification. The issue is not even the level of performance you put in the company, you know. Right, because I feel like all these people today, the ones that we've had, when they wanted to be fired, all their bosses had one language, right? And when they have this one language, it's pretty clear to see when you're being fired or when it's coming, right? And also in these job places, their bosses and this kind of people, they have no problem showing their racism or how they belittle you or how they treat you different from the rest. A good case and example is of the lady who was wearing a headscarf and a black t-shirt, and she was saying that she only lasted in corporate America for 3 years, and this is because she doesn't take BS, and that there's microaggression at work, and sometimes she couldn't help but feel that her superiors only employ her because they kind of have a secret bet. That is what she says it felt like. They kind of have a secret bet of how long she will last in the job market, which is quite sad to make somebody feel like that. Right, and I've noticed 3 years seems to be the maximum standard. It's like it's a written rule, a secret not rule for written, them, but a secret rule because for them, even the guy talked about 3 years. After 3 years, they started they now started trying to look for faults in order to fire him, but he didn't give them any reason. Right. Imagine, guys, someone making a secret bet of how long you're gonna last in a place, and you can also imagine the length these people are willing to go through to frustrate you in order for them to win their bet, you know. And I'm like, does everybody get this level of treatment, even the white employees, or is it just the Black American community? Which I feel like I have my answer to, which I would say it's quite unfortunate that Black Americans not only have to deal with microaggression, but you know that your time will definitely expire in that company very, very quick compared to your white compadres, you know. Anyway, I don't know what to say about this situation, but it's quite a sad situation, and I feel like someone like President Trump being in office, I feel like wasn't the whole thing, you know. But then again, I usually say it doesn't have to take another person for your true nature to come out. If you're evil, you've just been evil, and you are waiting for a perfect opportunity to display your evilness, you know. So I don't feel like it's quite fair to totally blame President Trump, because he is who he is and he doesn't hide it. Right. But for you to become who he is, it means you've always been who you are, you know. That is also a choice. But guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. And right now, I don't know, I'm getting the feeling that there's a level to which Black Americans, when they get to in terms of success, the level of success, then because of the white supremacy system, that they do something to make sure they
drag Black Americans down, right?
Yeah, and unless you have a very, very unique way of tackling that situation or trying to break out of that system, more often than not, these are the kind of problems that Black Americans tackle on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, guys, let us know what you think about this on the comment section, right? And also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and we'll catch you on our next episode.